Good morning, welcome to a video update. This is Kim speaking on Thursday the 19th of November. Okay, let's have a look at the euro dollar first, and let's actually start from the upper time frame. So yesterday we ended up with a spinning top, but it's pushed up since then back into the daily 8s and is having a bit of a reaction from that and the 34 moving average. There's a bit of divergence still going on the dailies, but this divergence is on the RSI here can continue while prices come down. We made yet another new low yesterday, even though the divergence was sitting there. However, short term on the 60 minutes, we were overbought into the high that made at 1 o'clock this morning. It's almost back to its target from my signals. But it does have a daily pivot below us, and it could run on, but pretty close to 60.20. 60.21 rather, which we could see a bit of a bounce coming off of. If it runs through those, well, it could be odds on for the daily pivot, but with all that support beforehand, it's not the easiest of routes. Now, it's looking at it, it's really had a good move, so it doesn't look the best of mornings for lots of trading at the moment, but we'll see. Cable managed I mean, it's spinning top day before, it's pushed up yesterday, not quite closed above to give us a pivot swing, but it's still pushed up anyway through the Asian session. So we've been running up higher. The likelihood now is we could run into the daily 34.50 and maybe eventually get towards this outer trend line, but for now, it again it given me an overbought signal into the 1 o'clock candle there, and well, hasn't pulled back so much. Now it's almost diverged. It didn't quite diverge into these highs here. It didn't quite make a new high, but it certainly reacted off that anyway. And currently, if we break that 8 moving average, I may look for the short side back towards the pivot, although with the intention of catching the 34 on the way. It's quite overbought where it sits at the moment though. Dollar yen. So another divergence candidate. Now that has pulled off through the Asian session so far. It's quite a sort of chop it's done really. Looking down to the 60-minute time frame, and you can see we've run right the way through the daily pivot, the S1, almost all the way to, well, found the support off that hourly 200 and the hourly 100 combination sitting there. Perhaps if we see a break of this, there's a sort of quite a steep trend line coming down here. We could see it alongside back towards the daily pivot again, but having already hit that figure and the S1 level, it's wiped out the targets that I'd normally be looking for here. Aussie dollar, well, probably no surprise to see it's done similar to the other markets here. Has pushed up. To me, it is a little bit, again, it's showing overbought signals at these highs. It's run into its daily 34 now, which is rising. We're getting these key moving averages rising, so whilst we may see reactions from these, it may eventually just move up a little bit further. You're seeing it, as I say, there's a bit of bullish momentum on the 4 hourlies there. But again, on the hourly pattern, we've got divergence going. As I said, it was a little bit overbought earlier on. That again could do if it breaks through its 4 hourly 8, may pull back towards the 21 at least. Just the fact that it's just stretched itself so far, so there's some targets that it may come back to. Daily pivot, I think, may be a big ask, although the overall ranges of some of these markets of late hasn't been that big. I mean, it's 56, 57 pips, but there is a possibility. And finally, let's have a quick look at the Canadian dollar. So Canadian dollar's dropped off some more here. So that's the US dollar stroke Canadian dollar. So the Canadian dollar itself has strengthened a little bit as it's moving down. Quite extreme sort of movements on the 4 hours. It put in the pivot swing. It's seen that move off, and at the moment it's probably a bit oversold down here. It is oversold down here. I can just check on my indicator. Oh, it's not massively. It's not actually come on there, but certainly all the way down to its daily S2, which may hold it. Again, any bounce through that 8 moving average may give us a path or back towards the 21 at least, the hourly 21. So these markets, lots of movement through Asian session. This whole drive has been driven by the Fed minutes from last night at 7 o'clock. They've suggested, I mean, it looks like it's quite highly likely they'll put an increase in interest rates, but they've also said that any continuation will be very, very slow. So effectively, the markets have been pricing in 0.25% for ages. So what we're seeing here is a sort of okay, you're only doing one, and you're going to come back again, but we'll see. But for now, today, news coming out today, we've got UK retail sales at 9:30, which could give the pound a bit of a wiggle. Particularly if it gets out of sync with the US dollar. It was one of the stronger markets along with the US, so it'll be interesting to see if we can get a kicker. But the retail sales are due out, as I say, 9:30, expected to come out at -0.4. And then in the afternoon, we've got the US weekly employment numbers, and at 3 o'clock, the Philly Fed Manufacturing Index. Not a major mover, so I don't expect too much action from any of this. Okay, so retail sales maybe give us the biggest kicker, certainly, that's for sure, in the morning. Right, that's it for me. Hope you have a great day. I'll be back on tomorrow. Bye for now.